What is up, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by the man with the picks, Pez himself. What's up, Pez? How's it going?
Jeff, we're a little alarmed, and we're looking at some things. We talked about it off camera. Gambling is fun. I mean, we're
Yeah.
investing money. We gotta figure out a way to prevent this threatening of athletes and their families. I'm seeing it all over the internet in the last 2 weeks, Jeff. It's something we're not promoting at Pez's Picks. We want to get that out there straight. If you lose a bet, it's not the athlete's fault. It's not. Even if they have a bad game, it's the gambler's responsibility to know that some players are going to have bad games at times, and some of the stuff's ugly. It's bothering Pez's Picks, and we don't want to be a part of that. Anybody watching this that's going to go and threaten people's families, like we saw with I believe Houston Astros pitcher Lance McCullers. We had a Boston guy. There was a horrific event at a track meet, yelling at a gold medalist at the starting line. And then the guy held up his phone showing a parlay he hit to cause her to come in second. This is what we call cheating, Jeff. And this is something we don't stand for at Pez's Picks. This is insider trading, not acceptable, and something that's I'm a little concerned about, to be honest with you.
Well, the lawmakers that decided to legalize gambling almost across the nation, not all 50 states have it legalized yet, and I say yet on purpose, they had to know that this was a possibility. They had to know that people that are going to be using this, we call it investment. Some people call it a way for them to make money. It's going to get real hot and heavy real quick, and people are going to get way in over their heads, and then they're going to feel the pressure. And what are they going to do? They're going to take it out on who they think is to blame. And in this case, it's the athletes, when in reality, that's not the issue. The issue is the person placing the bet. But Pez, what's the solution here? Is there one?
Well, Gabby Thomas, 3 gold medalists this past summer, was at a Grand Slam track meet, and some online handicapper who I guess has a nice following videoed himself. I mean, it was ugly stuff at the starting line, and track is a solemn sport. It's quiet. It's a respectful thing. Got into her head, and she came in second. And then this guy posted his parlay he hit with her not winning and cashed in money. And I think a person like that should be banned. And this is something that the sports books have to take a look at, maybe ban people from putting action in. This is unacceptable. This is something in the traditional gambling world. The only people you can yell at, Jeff, in the gambling world and really, really get rough with are guys that play highlight and maybe at the horse track, because they can't hear you anyway. You yell at the horse and the jockey. Highlight, they're generally foreign guys that are not speaking English anyway. But if you're at an event and maybe you're yelling from the stands at an opposing team because you hate them, not because you're losing bets, and threatening families and things like that, or contacting these people about losing bets, we should talk about lifetime bans. And casinos do this. I grew up outside Atlantic City. I've had some friends that were marked as what we call mechanics, people that are adjusting the cards to their liking, Jeff. And there's various number of ways people do this, with a fingernail, maybe with a bend, maybe with some sort of some sort of mixture that they can only see through special bets. So I've had friends banned for many reasons, including grabbing chips and walking away. That's definitely illegal. But you might get away with a mean word to a dealer, maybe a highlight player. But at an event, when you're affecting the outcome, this is akin to the big scandal we had with the national anthem at the Super Bowl, where we had an associate that went outside the stadium and taped the rehearsal. So they've gotten rid of that bet because of that. And I think some of this has to be looked at too. I think it falls in the sports books. I've done some research on it for the last 2 days. They're hiring people to try to enforce this stuff. Anyone making online threats is going to be tracked back. Their account's going to be canceled. These guys share books, just like Vegas and Lexus. They share books. So I think it's something we have to look at. You cannot go online and promote people to win bets by harassment, intimidation, or threats to athletes. It would end our business, right? I mean, this is it. Yeah. This is the business we're in. You want to yell at the Cowboys when they're in Philly? That's fine, Jeff. And I've done that. I may have even cheered when Michael Irvin broke his neck. I didn't know his neck was broken. Did he get carted off? Sure he did. But we all cheered. I mean, that was great. We hated that, man. But we weren't – well, probably were gambling, Jeff. But that wasn't why we were cheering. So something ugly about it. I'm a little concerned about the amount of money that people are wagering on these things. And we encourage people. We're using data. We're using stats. We're using numbers and an algorithm. And that can only get you so far in life. We're not going to hit 100% of bets. I think coming in, we're at about 63, 64% NBA. And I think we're at about, 59%, 58% Major League Baseball. So that's great for us. That means we're making money. You're not going to win every bet, and it's an un-American thing, and you should be banned if you're attacking athletes or threatening them. That's not part of the game.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about something else as it pertains to sports books. For me, I'm a very freedom-minded person. In other words, if it's not going to impact someone else, you should be able to make the decisions that you want for your own personal well-being. But I do find it a little fishy when you see some of these ploys that sports books make to get people to sign up for their sports book rather than the other. We talked last football season, I believe it was last football season, it could have been 2 years ago, where people that were in, I think it was your boy Legs, who was signing up on all these different platforms to try and get as many free bets as possible. But the free bets, they don't pay out. Like, you can't cash out certain things. Don't you feel like there's a little disconnect? And I'm not asking for any government overreach in terms of making sure that they can and can't do certain things. Because ultimately, like I said, I think that you as a bettor should be able to control yourself. But what are your thoughts on what the sports books do and not so much what the bettors do, as you just outlined?
Jeff, you're reading the mind of Coach KT Smith and I, who I do a new podcast with called The Hot Route.
Yeah.
A topic invented by a go-to partner of ours, the six-string punter from JMU, our golf and rare football analyst that we have hired under the books here. He brought up he bought a coffee maker for $7.99, Jeff. That is way cheaper than the actual coffee. So this is a topic we're going to discuss called honeypotting, which is something that casinos have perfected. And like you said, my man Leg. So if you lose your money and wait a few weeks, they give you free $50 in your account to get you back in. The casinos, I've seen it my whole life. You have your player's card, and if you gamble enough money, which in my opinion means losing, you get free rooms, you get things like that.
Right.
They also have giveaways for toaster ovens, air fryers. I see these people walk through the casino carrying appliances. They're getting drawn to the casino for a free meal, some sort of air fryer. And then they're going to go lose their marginal money that they're losing, $200 to $500 probably per pull for a lot of people, and that adds up. And I agree with you. It's something we should look at. When gambling was illegal, Jeff, there was not a bookie in the world that offered you anything.
Yeah.
And if you won money, sometimes they might meet you for a drink or a cheesesteak, maybe a meal if you're winning a lot. But if you lost money, you met them in a parking lot of a Target at 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. You hand the money over, and the tires were spinning before the money was out of your hand. So there is no honeypotting, gambling. And I agree with you. I think this is bad. I know some of the betting sites that we mentioned sometimes or reference, they've got VIP rooms where if you gamble enough money, you can pick out products. Marlboro did this, Jeff, in the 90s. I'm not a smoker, but I had a lot of buddies that would go into the trash cans of bars to take the Marlboro miles to get a Marlboro leather jacket, which looked cool in the 90s, but probably not worth your lungs. So
right.
I think it's something to look at. You're not getting things like this, and it's not something that should be part of gambling. You don't get a free hoagie to go buy. Well, maybe you do, Jeff. Maybe you get a free meal sometimes when you buy beers. I've heard of gentlemen's clubs that give away free lunch, Jeff. I've never attended them. I'm a classy guy, but I've heard there used to be a gentlemen's club at the Atlantic City Airport on a circle they have there, which is a Jersey special. We do circular roads. Free spaghetti and meatballs lunch platter if you bought a beer. So that I'm not saying I went, Jeff, but that's a classy move. So I am alarmed by it. I'm alarmed by young people gambling, and it's not something people should be doing, without money that they have to lose. You cannot bet money that you can't put to risk to lose, and you don't want to get yourself, your family in trouble. I've seen practically everybody I know get in this trouble, Jeff, and that's why, as an older man now, we're trying to share our lessons we've learned on the hard streets of the gambling life. And that's something that I'd beware of people. When you're getting something for free, it's not because you're getting a good deal here. It's because they're sucking you in, and that's something I think that feds or state government should take a look at a little bit.
Okay. You brought up casinos, and I had a question for you because you've obviously been to a lot of them. I have not. Where I grew up in Wheeling, West Virginia, which is still an active Greyhound track. West Virginia is the last state. I didn't realize it's the last state in the United States to have legalized Greyhound racing.
Oh.
And I grew up there, and on the island, they put in a casino right when I was graduating high school. So I was there, but I've never been to a casino that has a sports book. Let me ask you this. You've been there, you've done that, whether it's Vegas, whether it's Atlantic City. Is there a benefit to being in person in a casino and placing a sports bet compared to on your phone and the comfort of your home on your couch? Is there a difference? The answer can be no. I'm just curious.
Well, I've been in every Atlantic City casino, Jeff, for the last probably 35 years. And sports books, I thought, were going to make a much bigger impression on casinos. I've been to many of the Vegas casinos. I was just there last summer, or maybe there again this summer. Sports books have not taken over the gambling world in casinos like we thought they would. 20% of profits are coming from sports betting. 51% of all casino profits come from casino slots. So I don't think they're investing a lot of money into it because it's about, a fifth of their overall take.
Yeah.
Is there an advantage? You do get free drinks if you're betting. So if I sit at a sports book and I have a ticket,
yeah,
depending on the casino, I can get a certain amount of drinks. And same thing if you're betting on horses, you put that ticket on the sports book bar, you're generally going to get a couple free drinks. Some casinos give you vouchers. You put a bet in, you get 2 free drinks. Generally at these sports books, when you sit at the bar, they have video poker, Jeff, which is an addictive thing. In some states that don't have sports gambling, they have legal video poker everywhere. Montana, Colorado, states like that. So I think there's an advantage to it being more entertaining. My wife likes when we go to the sports book. She doesn't even like to gamble a lot, but she likes hearing, there's 50 screens. There are people looking at, a cricket game in Pakistan or something, and they're cheering about that. So it's a fun thing. You can get possibly good live betting odds depending on the casino. You might be able, if you're smart, you might be able to put some sort of long-term betting, some future bets in based on some sort of results or injury or something like that. But at the end of the day, everything you're doing at a sports book casino, you can do on the app on your phone. Everything. Now, the other advantage, you can make these bets without record. So if you're in the sports book, you're betting cash. A lot of people like to do this gambling thing under the cash guys.
Yes.
You do have to collect taxes. Anything, I believe it's over $800 now. It used to be $10,000, Jeff. So there were a couple times hard on our luck. Young gamblers in the poker room, an older gentleman come over and go, if you guys collect this money, I'll give you $500. So we knew we weren't paying the taxes anyway, Jeff. We had no income. So those days are gone. I believe $800 is the cutoff now. So I do like the cash betting. I think when you bet cash, you're doing something different. You're not doing online betting. That cash is out of your pocket. A credit card, especially for young people, they don't look at it the same way. When I hand over a $100 bill, I know that $100 bill is gone. And if I win, I might collect, $200 or $300 depending on odds. So I do like that aspect of it. I think it should all be in person. I think the app betting is a dangerous thing, Jeff. I really do. I think we should have betting houses. Betting houses are great. I used to like offshore track betting, and that's a whole other different situation, but a dangerous situation the country's in right now. Gambling is taking over. I think it's replacing cigarettes, right, Jeff? Nobody's smoking anymore. Drinking's down, cigarettes are down. The young kids, they're gambling and they're spinning the Instagram, and maybe these are good things. I don't know. Why? I hope the best for them.
What the hell's happening to our country?
I don't know. Governor Murphy here, Jeff. Governor Murphy in New Jersey legalized marijuana and sports betting. I mean, this guy, he's the biggest party governor in the history of the country. We love this guy, Murphy. He's the best.
That's hysterical. All right, let's go into, you mentioned this already briefly, but I want to give you an opportunity to plug NBA playoffs, how our picks are doing, as well as Major League Baseball plays. And you took Skeens. I tried to tell you last week, you cannot trust the Pittsburgh Pirates offense. He loses, has a beautiful game, and they give him 0 runs and run support, and you end up losing that one. But go ahead and talk about MLB and NBA plays.
Well, NBA, we're at 62%. We've fallen off a little bit. I mean, we're at 10 straight, Jeff. That's not, our social media guy wanted me to bang our chest a little bit more. We don't like to brag when we win 10 in a row because that's anomaly, right? I mean, that's not something that's going to happen. That means the system's working a little bit. But since then, we've been a little bit over 500. The Knicks, I don't know what happened with this team. They fired the coach, Jeff. This guy's got the third most playoff wins, Thibodeau, and behind Boston and Cleveland the last 5 years. I don't know what the heck's going up there. I don't know who they're getting to coach that team, but regarding Indiana and Oklahoma City far and away the better team. I'll put it out there, Jeff. We haven't put the video out. It's going to go out soon. We're taking Indiana Pacers game 1, getting 9.5. That's a team that has won every game 1 in this playoffs. They've won 2 on the road, Cleveland and Boston. I think this game they know is a must-win. They go down 2-0 in Oklahoma City. It's all but done. So we love them in this situation. We love the underdog. Great coach they have there. This guy's done it before as an underdog. He's won a championship in Dallas. So NBA's coming to an end. It's been difficult, but I think it's been the best playoffs we had in a long time. Baseball, we're just getting into it. Now, why would we take Skeens, Jeff? We even mentioned in our video. Anytime you get Skeens, and we put it out a day before, we had a minus 135. Scooble, Skeens, any of these top guys, you get a minus 135 or better. We're taking that game, regardless of the team's hitting, regardless of the team they're playing. Pitching is almost a certainty in baseball. Skeens is going to get his wins, right? And I know he's probably about 500 right now because of the horrible hitting. When you have a pitcher that you're guaranteeing is going to give your team a shot within a run or two. I mean, Skeens, what did he give up? 1 run? He gave up a homer, I think, in the 6th or 7th inning.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's giving you a chance. And I hate to put a burst of bubble. I was talking with a baseball coach today, a guy who's had a lot of success, and he talked about how baseball is failure. The best baseball players in history are going to 7 out of 10 times not get on base.
Yep.
So hitting, I'm not saying it's not important, but in terms of wagering, if we're going to be doing this over a long period of time, if it was a one-day bet, I'm not taking Skeens yesterday, but we're looking for long-term investing here. We're going to go with the pitchers that are more likely to give us an advantage in that regard in the game to win these games, one-on-one situations. Over time, if you bet Skeens when you have good odds, especially if he's getting money, you're going to win more of those than you lose. And that's part of the system we're looking at. Of course, we love everybody could hit, but the whole league's struggling hitting right now. There's a lack of consistency in this league. Even the Dodgers' offense is struggling a little bit. They're a big comeback team. Boston can't close a game to save their life. And I don't know what's going on with the Mets, Jeff. They make these trades for this guy. This guy stinks. This Soto, he stinks. We're happy as Phillies fans. We're happy. The guy must be drunk every night. I don't know what's going on. He's terrible. He's lazy too, and we love that, Jeff.
Hey, get these guys some torpedo bats, will you already? I mean, get them some juice too. Like, get them jacked up on steroids. It was much fun. It was way more fun when the steroids were going and they were flowing, and McGuire and Sosa were banging homers out every single night. I mean, that's what we want to see, anyways, right? I mean, come on now.
Well, there's some crypto bros, I think, working with Don Trump Jr. working on this league. I don't know if you've heard about this. They're putting together a an open a PED allowed league. I don't know what sports. I don't know if it's going to be American Gladiator. That would be awesome. But I think they're going to have a open PED, some sort of Olympics they're trying to put together in Vegas, which would be awesome, right? That'd be great. At the end of the day, those steroids, if you really look at it, maybe helped you 10, 20% of an advantage, which is a lot. But, I'm glad it's not as much in football and baseball. Those years were fun, Jeff, but hard gambling when you had a guy that could step up at any time. I go back to 2003, Yankees up over Red Sox about 20 years ago. Probably the biggest losing series of my life. Manny Ramirez and Big Papi, they go in the locker room, they jack up all kinds of horse tranquilizers. They jacked 4 straight games, Jeff. And we know they were on steroids. They've admitted it. I think they owe me money. That's another FFSN legal team that I'm assigning them to get me that money back. That's inappropriate. That's like yelling at or threatening someone's family after a loss.
All right, you wanted to talk about NFL futures. I don't know what's changed much since the schedule was released, but what do you have on the docket here?
So, this gambling's a living thing, Jeff, and I'm finding, every day we're seeing changes. So we will put out total bets. We did it last year. We had pretty great success. I think we went 10-4 in the number of games that we took. We're going to end up, we'll put out a video and we'll talk about every team. Whether we take them or not is up to debate, but we'll discuss every team. We'll go by division. And what I'm finding, I've never seen this before. They're giving us help, Jeff. So if we look at the Arizona Cardinals, if you take them over 6.5 wins, you're laying 300 to win 100. Okay. If you take them over 10.5 wins, you're getting 270 on every 100. Now, those are the fake bets, Jeff. These are the fake lines. The real line for the Arizona Cardinals is 8.5 wins. So if you take over 8.5, you're getting plus 100. If you take under, you're minus 120. What I'm getting at is they're giving us more data to help us make these plays. If
Right.
Vegas thinks it's super unlikely, they're giving you 3-1 that Arizona's going to win 11 games. I think that can help you make your adjusting bet on 8.5 or 9 wins. And it's something that we're really looking at. It just came out in the last 2 weeks, and it's going to have us punching more data. But I'll go down to your Pittsburgh Steelers, Jeff. This I don't know how they even put lines out. We're going to be taking the over. Right now, the real line over 8.5, you're getting plus 125. I think that is a bet to lock in today. There is no question they're going to have Aaron Rodgers or some other veteran quarterback in that team. There's no question, right? They're not. Mason Rudolph is not quarterback in this team to start the season. That ain't happening. So whether it be Whack Job Rodgers or Turd Cousins, I think 8.5 is the steal, the lock. Right now, you're getting plus 125. Now, over 10.5, you're getting plus 360. So a gambling person who's banking a little bit on Rodgers, maybe give him a couple extra wins. Maybe they know something. Maybe you take that. But I think over 8.5 plus 125, fantastic. Now, if you take over 6.5 wins, you're laying 250 to win 100. So that tells me Vegas knows they're going to be in the 7 to 10 win range. And I like him at 9 to 11 wins. I like that team a lot. I think this is all a smokescreen. Pittsburgh's going to figure it out. I can see Rodgers signing within a couple of days or so. I'm hearing rumors. He's also listed on the MVP bracket right now. You can bet Rodgers MVP right now for, I believe, plus 2,000. That's not a big number. So if this guy is able to kind of reignite what he had 2 years ago, I'll give him last year off Achilles. Nobody's good after an Achilles. I think Pittsburgh's onto something, and I like the way that they're handling this situation. If they get that guy in this week, I mean, it's got to be soon.
What about your Birds? I'm looking at their regular season win totals, and you have to get plus odds on Philadelphia. You have to go over 13.5. That seems crazy. Now you go over 11.5, it's minus 110. So is that your number for the Birds?
The problem with the Birds right now, or any Super Bowl team, that number is always inflated. Right?
Yes.
And to bet 12 wins. So you're talking a team going 12-5, 11-6. That's a lot of wins. I know we got there last year. We do not have 2 home games in a row. That's something that's going to hurt the team. I see them as a 10 to 12, maybe a 13-win season, but injuries can impact this, and that's something you have to watch for. When you have a team predicated on a few players and not really a system, I think Pittsburgh can afford injuries a little bit more than a Philadelphia Eagles team. We're going to have to really look at that one. But what they're telling you is they don't want you betting this team.
Yeah.
There's a nucleus coming back. 12 wins isn't unrealistic. I think 14 wins isn't too unrealistic. You're getting 410 to bet 14 wins. That's a big bet. I mean, then you're going, 14-3? That's a lot. And you're cashing in. You're hoping at the end they're not cashing in. They can give up a game. And so that's a team we're going to have to look at. We're going to have to go game by game. And I'm hearing various things here. People still not buying the Jalen Hurts, Jeff. I think right now Jalen Hurts, MVP, a fantastic bet. I believe right now you're getting him at plus 2,000. I think that's the strongest bet out there right now. He's the only guy in the NFC East. I think he's right before Jade Daniels, and I love him. I think Jalen Hurts comes out this year, and he's going to be a more pass down the field guy than we've seen in the last couple of years. I think Saquon's going to need to get rested a little bit more. We got A.J. Dillon. We got this young Shipley kid. I think it's going to be a throw-off in team, and I can't wait, Jeff. I think Hurts in that Super Bowl has changed the game on the Birds. They can do multiple things now, and at 12 wins, we'll take a look at that. That's something that we're going to have to decide coming up soon.
All right, let's talk Belmont. Let's talk horse racing. The final leg of the Triple Crown is coming up. You hate this track. You hate how long it is. You hate this race. But do you have any plays, or are you just going to say check out social media?
Well, we already put out Baeza. He's the one horse at 6-1. This race sucks, Jeff. There's 8 horses. It's an 8-horse Triple Crown race, and 2 of them are like 200 to 1. So I don't even know the one horse. I think they just put guys in to fill the track out. The two favorites that won the last two big races, Journalism and Sovereignty, are going to go off at 2-1. Very difficult to make money. You're going to have to try to wrap up a trifecta, get all three horses. I don't know what we're going to do with this situation. We might just stick with Baeza. It's the most boring of the Triple Crown, Jeff. I was talking about it with somebody. If it rained, it might be more exciting. And there could be a little wet stuff up there. It's long. There's no infield at this track. Nobody is around the track on the outsides. It's only a grandstand. You might get some homeless guys on the far end of the track. So the horses run quiet. And I think that affects things a little bit. I think it's why it's super hard to win the Triple Crown. Some horses, they like the momentum. They hear the crowd. It gets them excited. Now we're on the whip count too. So 6 whips. I mean, that's it. So these guys, I don't know if they're whispering. I don't know what they're doing.
Does the whip count depend on the length of the race? So Belmont is a longer track. Do they get more whips?
I believe all Triple Crown. I think all registered horse racing now is 6 wax. I'm pretty sure. I think this is
is wax more official than whips? Does that sound better? Is that more correct to say?
Well, it is more of a stick than a whip. I mean, that when you're there and you hear it, it's pretty loud. I mean, it's they tell me over the years. I've always said, oh, they don't feel it, right? Or a poor horse will go down. They got to put him down the track. They don't feel it. Any animal getting hit or dying, they're feeling pain, right? I mean, this is something that, as a horse bettor, I love horses. Some people say horse betting is the worst thing for horses. I don't know. I beg to differ a little bit. Of course, the glue guy comes after every racing day, and some horses go to pasture, but they're created to have this kind of mythic ability, horses, right? They're an athlete, and I respect that in them. And when you stand next to a Triple Crown thoroughbred, it's a very impressive thing. And I'm hoping the best for Baeza, Jeff. 6-1, that's our guy. I haven't checked the numbers today. I'm sure it's changing, but save your time. I think there's a lot of better things you can do this weekend than go to that Belmont, Jeff. I don't want anybody to think I'm pushing.
All right.
There's one road in and out of that track. It'll take you like 9 hours to get in and out of that city. Unless you're a big timer, you can chopper in. I've seen that happen. And maybe FFSN, maybe we take the chopper. We get the corporate chopper running this weekend from Atlantic City. It'll be a good weekend.
All right. So, and for more up-to-date odds, and if he has a trifecta, or
we'll have some more, Jeff.
Yeah, go check out Pez on social media at Pez's Picks, where it's Instagram and on Twitter at Pez's Picks, PEZS. Let's finish up with some golf talk. Scotty wins again. He does it. He wins the Memorial Jacks tournament at Muirfield Village. Does it in really dominating fashion, even though the final leaderboard might not indicate it. And so this week we have the RBC Canadian Open before the U.S. Open next weekend, Father's Day weekend. So that's always fun. That's going to be at Oakmont, northeast of Pittsburgh. Pez, what do you think? I mean, do you want to talk about last week? Do you want to just move on to the RBC Canadian?
At some point, I think Scheffler's going to be hurt by not having a rival. I mean, this guy,
not his fault. How's that his fault? He's too good.
Well, I'm not saying it's fault, but he doesn't have a rival, right? He does. Tiger had Phil, he had VJ, he had some guys. Who's pushing Scheffler at this point? Scheffler against the field.
You know who it is? Guys that don't play enough. Rory's not playing enough. Ludwig sucks right now.
He does.
Colin Morikawa doesn't play enough. Xander Schauffele is hurt. Those are the guys he needs to play better.
Sure
but
does.
He should give it. Hey, he's going out and winning majors, but whatever. I don't blame him.
He is the closest to Tiger Woods in his prime I think we've seen. He can win. He can win without his super A game. That course, it reminded me of Tiger. There were wins Tiger had by being boring, just not putting up bogeys. Right, all you got to do is shoot par. He didn't have to do anything spectacular. His putting, though, Jeff, I think about this. Everybody should be beating up Rory McIlroy in the locker room. Since Rory suggested he go to this mallet putter, it's changed Scotty Scheffler. I mean, he's a good putter now, right? I mean, this guy, I don't see him 3-putting anymore. There's no more 2-foot misses from 8-foot putts like he used to, staying there puzzled. Whatever it may be with that mallet putter, it's working for him. And I don't know. I know I've been bashing PJ. Ratings are up. Viewership is up. Gambling on it's super up. I know that because PGA Golf is now the number 3 little dot that you can click on the menu board for. So a lot of people are betting on it. This week, I don't like Rory. I'm not really a big Roy guy. We both agree on that. But
Yeah.
in controversy, he tends to wilt. So he should win this thing. I mean, this should be an easy win for him. I think Shane Lowry plus 2,200. You're getting a good return on him right now. Looking through this field, your guy's playing for a U.S. Open spot, right? I mean, maybe you feel bad for Max Homa. Did you see this guy carried his own bag in his qualifier? What's going on with
It was
Max Homa?
brutal.
Oh, my
36
God.
holes. He's hoofing it. 36 holes with his own bag. And he said he had to face the demons himself, Pez.
3-putted on the 18th to miss his spot. And he loses in 2 playoffs. I mean, I like the guy. I like him.
It's brutal.
I don't know.
I'll tell you, hey, I took Max Homa plus 240 top 20. He's not going to win, but he might place top 20. I like Rory here plus 450. I think Rory, we have not seen pissed off Rory yet. We've seen sad and pouty Rory, but we've never seen pissed off Rory yet this season. I want to see what he does. What's he does.
What's this guy pissed about, Jeff? He's using illegal clubs. I mean, give me a break, right? Who's he? What's the deal with this guy?
Well, let me ask you a quick question. Let's go back to Scotty real quick before we call it a show. Do you think we'll ever see a golfer get negative odds?
Tiger Woods used to get negative odds.
Really?
Yeah. There was a point.
Scotty was plus 280 last week. Plus 280. Like, that's crazy, Pez.
Torrey Pines, you got negative odds on him. The course, I'm thinking it was that World Golf Chevron course that they stopped doing the tournament, World Golf Tour. I don't know what it was. Whatever that was, you got negative on Tiger. I don't know if in a major it was ever the case, but there were negative odds with Tiger. You might have to lay like 200 to win 100. I mean, there was a point. This guy was winning more than half the tournaments he was playing, and Scotty's knocking on that door. I think it's possible. I think it's certainly possible if Scheffler continues and these other guys their games are going the other direction, right? Aside from the guy that was an insurance salesman, this Griffin guy who played great again, right?
Yeah.
Took a second. I mean, this guy's going to be in the Ryder Cup, right? I mean,
he should be.
He should be. I think he might have played his way in. We might have a conversation. Should the captain, should he be on the team? He's playing better than most of these guys.
He is,
right?
but he said he never would do that because he needs to focus on being the captain. But if you play your way in, you play your way in.
We might need him, and he's a New England guy. I know he knows Bethpage well. I think he's a top 15 in the world. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. We might need him, Jeff. I mean, we might need you out there. We might need you and KT Smith. We talked about it. I saw his game this week, and it's phenomenal, Jeff. This guy's pushing, maybe 15 to 20 over par, which is something we can work with by fall, right? I think we get him down to scratch.
He's dialed in. He's getting dialed in. There you go. All right, Pez, great show. Why don't you give us some final thoughts? What's coming up this weekend?
Well, I think game one, we're going to take the Pacers. We're putting that out there for Thursday night. After that, it's game-by-game situation. I think Gilgeous-Alexander is worth a watch. This is a team people don't get to see a lot, Oklahoma City. One of the best players I've seen since Michael Jordan, Jeff. I have not seen a guy with body control and pace of play control like Michael Jordan. This is the second coming of Michael Jordan in some ways, in my opinion. I love this player. Even though we're betting against him in game one. I hope he stinks tomorrow.
That's okay. All right, again, check out Pez on Pez's Picks, Instagram and Twitter handle @Pez's Picks. But Pez, thanks for your time, man. We'll talk next week. Take it easy.